Hello, and welcome back. As always, I'm your host in orbit, Al. This is a very special episode. Why, you ask? Well, because this is my first holiday special and mini episode. With the winter solstice and the celebration of Yule coming up, I think it's a great idea to talk about some of the legends of winter and the holiday. First off, let's get this out of the way. Christmas is based off of the pagan holiday and celebration of Yule and the winter solstice. Now that that's out of the way, let us begin. Fair warning, some of these might become a little spooky, so consider yourself warned. We will be starting today with a legend you all should know about because we've all heard about it. The elf on the shelf. The story goes that Santa sends out his little helpers, the ones who haven't worked hard enough during the year to make enough toys for all the good kids of the world, to all the households of the world to keep an eye on those kids in the final days leading up to Christmas. Each day the elf appears in a different part of the house to monitor and report back to Santa Claus, just in case little Timmy or Tiffany aren't really staying on their best behavior. Part of the tradition of the elf on the shelf is that he pulls little pranks and does cute creative things. However, despite the fun and mischief he pulls, children are not to touch him. If they do, he will lose all his magic powers and not be able to report back to Santa Claus. There is a way to fix this though. You have to surround him in cinnamon and then his magic will return. Seems cute, right? But this cute and harmless elf has quite a dark side. If you were to harm it in any way, shape, or form and not apologize immediately, the elf will become evil and will start to harm you in return, so you could feel the pain they felt. Even if you were to get rid of the elf, they will return, even angrier than before. This will last until Christmas Day. Then the elf will lose all its magic and will reset. So far, there is no way that we really know how to stop his rage state. So you'll have to hold out until Christmas Day. I do find it kind of odd though. For a species so obsessed with privacy, why would you bring a watcher into your house? Anyway, on to the next. The next one is the one and only Krampus. Krampus, whose name comes from the German root word for claw, dates back long before the time of Christ, but in the modern day is more or less the ultimate Christmas demon. While American kids never feared a lack of a shiny new present, no matter their behavior tendencies, children of the old world, especially those in Germany, knew something worse than a lump of coal was coming their way if they were to misbehave. Rather, if you weren't well behaved, you were beaten and tortured before being kidnapped and taken to Krampus's lair, where we can only assume the torture continues. So you better watch out and make sure you are behaving well. Now, let's go into some winter legends. Let's start off with the spirit of Frost himself, Jack Frost. Jack Frost is the personification of frost, ice, snow, sleet, winter, and freezing cold. He is a variation of the Old Man Winter. Perhaps he is his younger son, who is responsible for frosty weather, nipping the fingers, toes, in such weather. The next being you've probably heard of, or at least heard of its cousin. This one is known as the Yeti. The Yeti is a Himalayan folklore version of the Bigfoot. It is an ape-like humanoid with hair, fur covering its whole body. Unlike Bigfoot though, this one tends to stay high up in snowy mountains and has been blamed for multiple disappearances. Unfortunately, we don't know much else about him. Guess he doesn't like to be seen or recorded. Next up is a little different. This being was once seen during the winter. That's why he's on this list. He is known as the Mothman. After the first sighting of a winged creature in 1966, an Ohio copy editor dubbed the mystery creature the Mothman. Although typically associated with Point Pleasant, West Virginia, the Mothman was also active across the Ohio River in Galapagos. Sorry if I mispronounced that. Hundreds of Mothman sightings were reported in Ohio in the 1960s. But the mystery actually goes back centuries to Native and forgive me because I'm gonna pronounce this wrong, Wyandot people who inhabited the Ohio River Valley. According to author Mark A. Hall, the Wyandots were plagued by a giant flying bird-like creature who would blend into the clouds and fog, destroying crops, plucking children from the villagers. This creature, though, has been seen as a bad omen, as he was seen before a bridge collapse, as well as people saying they spotted him before the Chernobyl disaster, but he hasn't been seen for a while. Let's hope he stays away if he is a bad omen. Well, I think that is where I'm going to end off this mini episode. I'd like to wish you all a happy whatever you celebrate. Now, the stuff I have to say, as always, all music is owned by their respectable owners. Until next time, this is Al from the Watchtower, signing off.